jihadist conquest and fight. What? Like somebody will say, majority of those who were the victims of Boko Haram's jihadist terrorist government using the instrumentality of the Nigerian states to hunt down the supposed Nigerians who publicly either exposed their scheme or agenda, or they became very much outspoken against that murderous regime, incarcerated, exiled, or what have you. We have seen how many of them have been let go for some behind-the-scene arrangements that suddenly became working when Tinubu was there. But when it got to that of an Igbo man, that system is no longer working. They are keeping an innocent man in jail with millions of his own comrades, kith and kin and kinsmen, so to say. And they are watching how you are actually running this your one Nigeria. I told you, if anybody tells you that don't blame Tifnumbu, blame Boko Haram for the illegal detention and the kidnapping of Nnamdi Kanu, the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu and the attempted of a killing Nnamdi Kanu as soon as possible, all of these are no longer Boko Haram's responsibility. Don't ever join them to say, but it was Boko Haram now, so you wanted Tifnumbu to release him so that the Fulani say, it is no longer Boko Haram's problem. It is now Tifnumbu's problem. And every day that Nnamdi Kanu spend in that illegal detention, the torture, the denial, and everything, if he dies, Tifnumbu will be held responsible for the death of Nnamdi Kanu. Just as every day is locked up right now, Tifnumbu is responsible for that. And there will be consequences. You may tell yourself, nothing will happen. That's all right. It's okay. I've told you this many times. There are some days you will see those who told you that this contraption is untouchable, is non-negotiable, and every other nonsense they've told you. You will see them on the run, and you will be wondering, is this really happening? Because it will. Sooner or later. It will. And then I will keep requesting, let the innocent guy go. He has done nothing wrong. He wanted Biafra, so he wanted these people to stand up against the Fulani terrorists. Why are you not in support of that? Do you actually support, do you support the bloody jihadist campaign of the Fulani terrorists in Nigeria? Do you? So what will you say is the offense of Nnamdi Kanu again? What? We'll keep putting it out there. If anything happened to Nnamdi Kanu, Tifnumbu shall be held responsible. And I say this with all sense of sincerity. And the Agbadorians who want him dead or killed, may you actually be able to live through the consequences of such happening. May you. Let's go to the next one. But this sounds like a tea break. Good luck, Egbere Jolantan once said.
Thinking about how we've been having this conversation about the unity of Nigeria. And I reflect back at some of the prominent statements made by some of our founding leaders. And I feel that probably this will help us to have a conversation on the Nigerian unity. I just brought four, not to bore you. First, and I quote, not my statement, Nigeria is not a nation. It's a mere geographical expression. There are no Nigerians in the same sense as there are English, Welsh, or French. The word Nigerian is merely a distinctive appellation to distinguish those who live within the boundaries of Nigeria from those who do not. This is accredited to Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the former Prime Minister of the Western region. The second one, and I quote, "It is true that we politicians always delight in talking loosely about the unity of Nigeria. 60 years ago, there was no country called Nigeria. What is now Nigeria consisted of several large and small communities, all of which were different in their outlooks and beliefs. The advent of the British and that of Western education has not materially altered the situation, and the many and varied communities have not knit themselves into a composite unit." This is accredited to Sir Amadu Bello, former Premier of Northern Region. The third, and I quote, "Since 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country, but the Nigerian people themselves are historically different in their backgrounds, in their religious beliefs and customs, and do not show themselves any sign of willingness to unite. The Nigerian unity is only a British intention for the country." This is...
And that is so true. One Nigeria, one united Nigeria is only the British intention for their colony. The people they call Nigerians are just an appellation given to people in that geographical expression. As for the people therein, for 60 years, they have never attempted to be one. We have never attempted to be one. It is just the politicians who talk loosely. Nigeria unity is non-negotiable. Nigeria's kinika is, and you educated idiots trying to sound politically correct. This country is a great country. God created this country. God, now so something where God create, your God, now something where your God create, now so it be. We don't like ourselves. All we need is to respect ourselves and in our respective countries. Why is that too much for you to understand? Why are you holding on to something that is not real? They lie to you and now you find out, yet you won't let go. Anyway, we shall see. Thank you, Jare Jolantan. That was a very good one there coming from your mouth, even though they are not your words. But they are very good for this period. Guys, I am going to belabor you with some tantrums fight between the Obidients and the Agbadorians. And I actually chose to play you this video, or this audio rather, because a lot of you have heard about gaslighting by the APC. I'm talking about how they use religion, tribe, and then they accuse you of what they are doing. Are you listening? So they will accuse you. When APC accuses you of something, you lack this, you don't have this or that, you are a bigot, you are a religious. They are doing exactly what they are, and you will be there like, me? Is it because I said Tinubu is a druggie? Does that then quickly just make me a bigot who hates Yorubas? But Tinubu is a drug dealer. So me as an Igbo man, if I call him a drug dealer, how does that make me somebody who hates Yorubas? The APC, I am talking about starting from the Buhari days, the Buhari Dideris, the Buhari Denotus, the Buhari Dijatus, the Buhari Shukus, the Ungozi Haris, the Uneka Haris, the Unena Haris too. The sophisticated morons, obedient fools, and humbled slaves. It's those ones who are like the bat idiots, the bastard, Lagos Abobakus, Oshogbo Alimajiris. those crumb eaters, crumb chasers, ass lickers, including their uncles and aunties abroad, who will quickly gaslight you. And you begin to kind of doubt yourself and be like, they wanted you to believe that if you say something about Tifnumbu, it is simply that you hate Yoruba. No, it is not true. It is not true. They say to you that if you are a Yoruba who does not agree with a druggie, that should never be anybody's role model, not a role model for any younger generation. He and his history entirely should be expunged from our history completely by the right people when the time is right to put this history of Yoruba land together. Somebody like Amodashon Golere, Tifnumbu Kolu, the Jaga Were, Jaga Addicti, you will expunge everything about him totally from our history. Nobody must read about him. So there are Yorubas who believe that, including me. But do you know that the Olori Bruku Abobakus, all these bigots, religious, ethnic, local champions, they copy me Yoruba. They say I am Omo Ali. I know my papa. I know my papa. I know my papa mama. I know my mama. I know my mama papa. My mama mama. I know my grandma, grandpa, both on different sides. I know the tree of my family on both sides to at least 4 generations. I'm not joking. Ahead of me or before me. Our family root everywhere in Ijebu that you go to, you will see me there. Tongolere that erased his own family history completely, denying them from Irabiji, adopted by another druggie, Madam Mogaji, who sent him to America. We know what he went to do there. Then Olori Bruku Omo Ali, they will now call somebody like me Omo Ali for a druggie that can't point to the house of his father. If people can't point to the house of his father, he can't say, this is my father's house. He can't. So we know all of that. And when they are doing all of their gaslighting online and the rest of that, some of you probably don't really know how it works. Guess those who are promoting the bigotry most, they are living abroad. There is one of them, very useless boy. He lives in England. In fact, his voice is in the audio I'm about to play to you. So now you can relax, okay? I want you to pretend that you are obedient, even though you are not. Okay? And at that moment, sit there and listen to how they build gaslighting and how they build them into such a way that they believe the lie. They will be lying against you, living in denial of what you know, planting doubt here and there. But he met his match. That's why I'm bringing this to you. So relax and listen to this dear chat. This is how they deal with themselves. This guy lives in the UK to start with. Listen to him. He's an Agbadorian, Agbadorian. They are abroad. They have no plan of living in Nigeria, but they will live off any crumb that comes from the desk of these guys. But listen, his name is Dipo.
The names and to the handles. If me and Deji Adeodun are friends, I will not try to destroy Tio Abaga and Uchina Wata because they are Deji Adeodun's friends. And there's a limit tonight. Some of you are sounding reconciliatory. Some of you are sounding very gentle. Some of you, are saying we should de-escalate the names and to the handles. If me and Deji Adeodun are friends, I will not try to destroy Tio Abaga and Uchina Wata because they are Deji Adeodun's friends. And there's a limit. All of the people in Lagos, they know where they meet in the bar. The folks in the Abuja, one way. Person go sabi person, way sabi person, they will resolve the issues. But you guys, this new generation of political activists on Twitter, mostly faceless, and they are this is the most dangerous set of political activists or political commentators I have ever come across. Saddam, it is not by force to support Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Atiku, Kwakwanso, or Peter Obi. Why should I become your enemy? Because I don't support the same presidential candidate as you. It doesn't make any sense. There's another lie that some of you guys started when Chinelo was shot in Kaduna. There are at least 15 people who are on my private stories on Instagram. I went and said, My God, someone has been shot. This girl has been shot. Something has happened. I posted the evidence of all of those things on here. Shortly before that, I tweeted and said, people are mocking someone who has been shot. And I shared one of the tweets to show, I shouldn't have done that, but these guys have been going on to say that, oh, he mocked these people, he was mocking this girl, blah, 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 blah. For the life of me, I will never, ever do that. Not even to my worst enemies, let alone an innocent girl that I don't know. So all of these statements that, oh, he hates Southeast, he hates these people, it's not true. It's okay to dislike me. It's okay not to give a fuck about my political opinions. But there's no need to tag people bigots. There's no need to say, oh, everything I say, you now twist it around. In the last 2 hours, Jimmy has said some things. Daria has called me unintelligent. Someone else has called me names. I haven't responded to any of them in a negative way. I haven't, been overly critical of any of these individuals because I'm okay to be abused. I'm fine if you want to say whatever you want to say, but please don't defame me for 2 years and expect that you're going to walk away. Saying I was sacked from a university that is public, that you guys can go and verify. That light carried on for 2 years. After my birthday last year, I fell down, I broke my nose, I passed out. I passed out. I posted that picture. That is the picture that this Kaduna, whatever his name is, has been using, comparing me to pigs, comparing me to goats. He couldn't even use one of my fine pictures on Instagram. Maybe if he had used one of my fine pictures on Instagram, I would have been, like, Nasmotin. But I nearly died. My nose, that picture I posted was after 10 days. I hit my nose on the toilet and passed out. This guy has been so vile. Every week, he has something to say about me. Every week. Saddam, you're a parallel reporter, whatever. The stories that you put out is unfair. My tweets about the endangered species stuff, I've said it repeatedly. It wasn't even about obedience. I did say that people who support the Nigerian government, listen, soldiers, policemen have been killed. There's this man from Lagos, I can't remember what his name is now. His house was burnt. People were attacked during the election. You can actually say it happened in other parts of the country. Yes, it did. But some of us who are not cowards, who don't lick the asses of politicians, we called it out. I criticized all of the violence in every corner of this country. And for those of you obedient who still hate me so much, I have never ever one day been paid by anybody in the APC. If you see me doing all of the things I do and living my life, I earn £10, I spend that £10. I earn £20, I spend that £20. If there is a candidate on the ballot, if there is a party I support, I put my own money, my own resources behind those candidates and those individuals. Saddam, your parallel facts people, please clean up your page. Clean up your page. There's no need to continue to defame me. Saddam, you were sounding a bit emotional. Please look for a bottle of Star or a bottle of Eniken. Relax. Let us focus on education, on healthcare, on good governance from different perspectives. All this noise where we they shout. How much now in the last 2 hours? How much have I earned from this nonsense? It's almost a waste of time, and a lot of people have said, oh, don't reply, don't blah 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 blah. Guess what? My name is important to me. And that is why I have repeatedly stated in the last 2 years that I was not sacked by any university. I was not sacked by any university. I was not investigated for sexual misconduct. Fuck's sake, I'm a black African man. And you say I'm investigated for sexual misconduct, blah, blah, blah. Will I ever get a second chance in this country? The answer is no. My tweet about Obidients, the latest tweet on my timeline about Obidients, asking for reconciliation.
His name is Depo. Okay. And he became very popular on social media for writing CV, okay, for Nigerians who are looking for jobs. When they tell you that they are writing CV for you, it's like they promise, he's publicly committing crime of faking CV for people, lying for them to get jobs. But it was at the time when it was a good thing, it was like that until he became a dog whistler for APC. He lives in the UK. He lives in England. He became a dog whistler for them. Okay? It will come around and it will just drop something that are mostly tribal drug. Tribal dog baiting, sort of a baiting, tribal baiting convo. Is so kind of, I don't know how to describe him. I watch him from far. Probably if you see my video, you'll be like, this guy know me too. I watch all of them from far. I have never seen people who are so primitive and evil-minded that their exposure never really does anything to them. For real. People you look at and be like, they took you out of Nigeria. They never took Nigeria out of you. Nigeria is never taken out of you. Then he paraded himself as a doctor. So when his table turned was when he started calling the Obidients Igbos. In fact, to him, to that idiot, Obidients are Igbos. And you see today, all the narratives you have seen everywhere, where some people pretended to be ignorant and deluded to let you believe that Peter Obi and those supporting him, they are Igbos. There is no other person supporting him. If you don't support him, the people who, everyone who doesn't support Peter Obi is called enemies of the Igbos. Igbos never said, if you don't support Obi, you are their enemy. No. There is nowhere I have seen anybody who said, except for the bigots versus bigots, because they get bigot for Igbo land. And you have the Yoruba bigots too. They are doing competitions, okay? I am saying that I have not seen anywhere where people said, oh, because you are not supporting Obi, you hate the Igbos. No, I have not seen anywhere. In fact, I've seen Igbos saying Obi is a distraction. They don't want, he can never be president. Igbos themselves say, he can never be president. Why does he want to be president of Nigeria? Instead of him to work together and get Igbos out of Nigeria. I have seen people who have accused, you didn't hear him there. He said, if I don't support your candidate, that doesn't mean that. Then he told them, he said, he's never been to Igbo land, the way he lives in the UK. He's never been to any part of Igbo land, okay? But since he joined their tribal championship, it is so unfortunate that majority of those who actually champion and who play the dog, who blow the dog whistle of the tribal and ethnic and religious divisive rhetorics in Nigeria, they actually live abroad. You see those ones who are in Nigeria amplifying it and the rest, right? Those ones are just like helping to spread it. Majority of APC, spreading this divisive stuff and then accusing other people of doing it. I have seen a lot of them. I had to cut out, you won't believe this. Maybe he is also going to see this video. Mayegun Tide, Ani Esunraki, Mayegun Tide. He's a very good brother of mine, but I had to cut him off from far as well. I'm talking about people who somehow, once you have anything to any link with APC, Egbekegbe, somehow, they will railroad you into making you believe that defending APC, Egbekegbe, is defending Yoruba or speaking for Yoruba. So I had to cut him out too, and I wish him good luck. That's what I do. Once I begin to see the character that are totally alien to what or the type of a life that I choose to live, it doesn't matter our relationship, I will cut you off and you won't miss me. I promise you won't. That's what happened to that guy who sang the 2 songs on my platform here. Just like we removed the we are going to remove the Mayegun today. We're going to remove Mayegun don't come or yo, or I'm going to remix them because I actually own the rights. I own the master to that sound. But I'm trying to tell you how people have been somehow with the promise of like attention, promise of a validation, or promise of I don't know. Mostly it's not actually promise.